Hey, what's up everyone? Today I want to talk about what I consider to be the top 10 Mexican-inspired Funko Pops. And keep in mind, this is just my opinion. You may have a completely different list with completely different Funko Pops. And I welcome you to share it in the comments below. And I also want to say that I'm Mexican myself. Y sé hablar español, pero como nací en California, me hallo mejor en inglés. So perdóname, ojalá que disfrutes el video de todos modos. And the criteria I used is that all the pops are either Mexicans or inspired by Mexican culture. And of course, the design. So in choosing the pops on this list, I weighted cultural significance and also design. Alright, so before I get into the top 10, I want to talk about some honorable mentions. I think the Guillermo del Toro pop came out really good. It's just a human pop, but it really does look like him. They got the hair just right. And I love that he's holding his little sketchbook, his idea book. I also like the new Small World pop that's coming out that's representing Mexico. It's really cute, but it just makes me want an India Maria. I also think the new Julio Cesar Chavez pop that's coming out looks really cool. I love that he's wearing his bandana, but he's a little bit plain. If it didn't say Chavez on top or Mexico on his trunks, I'm not sure if I would recognize it right away. And although I'm not a big fan of the fluffy pops, this Day of the Dead one is visually interesting. I like the shirt. I love the sugar skull paint job on his face. The shoes, everything about it is very visually striking. And lastly, I really like the Tapatio man. I think this pop came out as perfect as it could come out, but he is just a corporate mascot, and that's why I left him off of the top 10. Alright, now for the best Mexican Funko Pops, starting at number 10. At number 10, it's Rey Mysterio. This is his new pop, and I love everything about it. I love the colors. I love that they did the eyes white and painted a little bit of his eyelid on there. The tattoos, the boots. Visually, this is an awesome looking pop. And some of the older ones are cool too, especially the Comic-Con exclusive one from 2014. Really nice color scheme, but you can see how much Funko has improved their sculpts. I mean, look at the way the mask is done on this one, and then look at the new one. It's not just painted on. Everything is sculpted, and it looks really, really nice. I was a teenager in the 90s, and in the Mexican community, Selena was one of the biggest icons of all time, so much so that her popularity leaked over into just the mainstream culture. I mean, they even made a movie about her, and that movie pretty much put Jennifer Lopez on the map, and to this day, Como la Flor is still one of my favorite songs, and her death was so tragic, it still kind of makes me sad to think about it. Selena made such a huge impact in her short life, and Funko did her justice with her pop. They picked the perfect outfit to put her in. To me, it's her most iconic look, and her hair sculpt looks good. Even the lips look good. Sometimes when Funko puts these kind of lips on pops, they look pretty horrible, but in this instance, it's pretty perfect. Bane, in the comic books and the animation, he has been portrayed by all kinds of Hispanic actors, including Mexican ones, and his origins are kind of ambiguous, but he does wear a luchador mask, which is one of the most iconic symbols of Mexico, and I really love this paint job on him. It's Day of the Dead inspired, and I like that they used a lot of white, red, and green, and it even glows in the dark. Just a really, really cool pop. At number 7, I have Rosa from Pop Around the World representing Mexico. And at first I thought she was a Chihuahua, but she's actually a Xoloitzcuintle dog, or maybe a little easier to say, just a Mexican hairless dog. But what really makes this one cool looking to me is all the details, like the flowers on the head. They're all sculpted really nice, and I love the colors that they picked. Her earrings look good, her dress looks good. It's representative of Mexico without looking goofy or stereotypical. And it was a smart move for Funko to change what they were originally going to do. They were going to do a donkey with maracas. And that would have been really goofy. But Rosa came out really nice. Speedy Gonzales is a good example of Funko sculptors expertly translating a 2D image into a 3D vinyl toy, which is hard to do. That's why so many animated pops look kind of weird, but Speedy came out perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it. He's pretty rare at 3,500 pieces, quite pricey, of course because he's limited, but he's also highly desired. If you have a collection of Mexican-inspired pops, you gotta have Speedy in there, and I know he can be a little controversial, But I don't know. All the Mexicans I know do not have a problem with Speedy Gonzales. They actually like him quite a bit. I've always liked him as a kid. My parents liked him. My grandparents liked him. Especially because at the time that Speedy was introduced, you didn't see too much Mexican representation. And yeah, it was a cartoon, and he's a mouse. But still, it wasn't negative. He was fast and clever, and I just don't see him as problematic. There are two versions of TJ, but I really like this more colorful version. He almost looks like a black light pop, and honestly I think they should have made him glow in the dark, but he's still really eye-catching. You put this guy next to a bunch of other pops, and your eye just goes to him because of the high contrast in these colors. And his name is TJ. I imagine they named him that because of Tijuana. And he is holding a bottle, and he's got a bullet belt on and stuff. All things that can be looked at as kind of stereotypical, but he is from the Spastic Plastic line, which are all kind of exaggerated, crazy characters. So to me, it's really cool. It's just a really great combination of colors. I love the gradient on the mustache, going from the light blue to white. That's a really nice touch that really puts this pop's design over the top. It would not be the same if they would have just made that mustache all white or all blue. And the blue is the same color as the bottle, so it almost looks like a visual representation of like how drunk he's getting. I don't know. It was just a really cool design decision to make. At number 4, I picked Scalita Calaveras. And I don't know anything about Monster High. I've never watched it. I think it's a show for little girls. But the design on this pop and character are amazing. The Day of the Dead makeup is really nice. Her jewelry, I love that they used papel picado for her skirt. Very, very clever. And the colors they use for it are very nice as well. And she's even wearing huaraches. Just an excellent design. And the sculpt is magnificent. Lots of little detail in the huaraches, the skirt, the jewelry, and those hands. Sculpted perfectly. And like the TJ, this pop draws your eye. Any pop you put it next to, this one is going to steal the show from it. La Muerte from Book of Life. Not the best movie ever made, but this pop is awesome and has been a grail for a long time. When I first started collecting, I remember this one was already at $400. I'm not sure what it costs now, but this has always been a grail, and I think it's mostly based on the design and the cultural significance of it outside of the movie. And not to sound like a broken record, but like the previous two, this is just a very colorful, aesthetically pleasing pop that is a centerpiece in any display. At number 2, I have two pops just because I couldn't decide which one was better and I couldn't bring myself to leave one off the list. And that is El Chavo del Ocho y El Chapulín Colorado. They're both characters from Mexican sitcoms and they're played by the same actor, Roberto Gómez Bolaños, or Chespirito, which means Little Shakespeare. These characters are extremely iconic in Mexico and Latin America, but especially Mexico, iconic to the level of like say Mickey Mouse is here. It seems like every generation of Mexicans grows up watching Chespirito shows. And not only are they extremely accurate to the source, they're designed really, really well. El Chavo, like his hat, is sculpted perfectly. It's even kind of rough on the front there. The paint is perfect. The freckles, everything on it is great. And he's in a barrel because he's like an orphan and he hides in a barrel. And of course, El Chapulín, just awesome with the mallet, the tuft of hair. Even the way the antennas are, like one's kind of down, one's kind of up. Funko couldn't have done these pops any more perfect. And before I reveal number 1, I want to talk about some Mexican icons that I wish Funko would make. And first of all, I wish they would make La Chilindrina. We have Chavo del Ocho, we got Chapulín Colorado. It would be nice to have La Chilindrina as well. And also Vicente Fernandez, Mexico's most iconic singer. He's a legend. And I want Funko to make some real luchadors. So I would want Blue Demon in the cape, and he should come with a chase, with him wearing the suit. And also the most famous luchador of all time, El Santo. He would just make a beautiful pop with that metallic silver mask. And maybe make him a diamond series, so they can put some glitter on that cape. And of course, I would want some Mexican soccer legends, including Hugo Sanchez, Jorge Campos, in one of his super bright, baggy uniforms. Super iconic. One of my favorite players of all time, Jared Borghetti. Cuauhtémoc Blanco, Mexico's best number 10 of all time, and Rafa Marquez, who was an absolute legend at Barcelona. I would also want them to make Frida Kahlo, and this is how I would like them to make her. Just like this picture, with the box art being like that background. And also Cantinflas, who is kind of like Mexico's Charlie Chaplin, just hilarious. I grew up watching tons of Cantinflas movies. And lastly, I know I want a lot of things, I would like a Canelo Alvarez. To me, the best thing going on in boxing right now. And at number 1, hopefully you guys don't get upset that I picked a Disney character over the Chespirito characters, but Ernesto from Coco is one of the most beautifully designed pops that Funko has ever made. Every single thing about this pop looks amazing. We'll start with the guitar. Look at all those little details. Very intricate paintwork. I'm not sure what it's called, but the part that holds the knobs to tune the guitar is a skull head, and he's a skeleton, so his hands are sculpted like bones, and you can see his rib cage. I just love the way his rib cage and spine is poking out, and it's all sculpted. It's not just cheaply painted. The mariachi suit looks great. I love that they use metallic paints on the buckle, on the buttons, on the bow. It makes it super nice. And I'm not sure if Disney modeled this guy after Vicente Fernandez, but he reminds me of him, which makes me want a Vicente Fernandez pop even more. And of course, the head is done super nice. I love the subtle Day of the Dead paint job on it. It's not too wild and crazy. Very classy looking. And I'm picking this one mostly because of the design. It's just wonderful. Even the way they did the gray hairs look nice. Sometimes Funko just sprays it on and it looks terrible. And the contrast between the flat and the metallic makes the hat look like it's made out of felt. And I love the way they did the eyes in white. I just love everything about this pop. So that's why I put it at number 1. Alright guys, that was my top 10 Mexican Funko Pops. Let me know in the comments below what you think I left off the list, what you think should have been number 1, or if you want to give me your top 10. And also, what other Mexican inspired Funko Pops do you wish Funko would make? Alright guys, thanks for watching, y ahí nos vemos.
Та, що є та, і не, а,